What causes people to get addicted to heroin? This question might seem a little bit stupid, right? We all know, and it's completely clear, that heroin causes addiction. If a person takes heroin for 20 days, because of the chemical bars which are in the heroin, he'll feel the need for it very much. This means addiction. But wait a second, there's a point here. Nearly all the things that we know about addiction are wrong. For example, if your pelvis bone breaks, you'll go to hospital. And for some weeks or even some months, a high amount of diamorphine will be injected in your body. Diamorphine is heroin. In reality, the most powerful heroin that you cannot even find it on the streets, because it is not mixed with what the drug dealers mix the heroin with. There are people around you who receive high amounts of diamorphine, so at least some of them must get addicted. Is that right? But this issue is exactly studied, and such a thing will never happen. For example, your grandmother with changing his thigh joints never turns into an addict. But what is the reason? Our common theory about addiction are formed by some of the experiments which were done on the early 20th century. The experiment is so simple. You put a mouse in a cage with two bottles of water. In one bottle, just water, and the other bottle, water with heroin or cocaine. Nearly each time we do this experiment, the mouse will choose the bottle which has heroin in it and drinks it so much until it dies. But in 1970 BC, a psychologist named Brooks Alexander found out something strange about this experiment. The mice were alone in the cage. Alexander thought about this, so what will happen if he does the experiment somehow else? So he made a park for the mice, but actually it was a heaven for them. A park which the mice have colored balls, tunnels for running, many friends, and other things. They had other things. Nearly all things which the mice needed, and also the two bottles of water. One of them normal water, and the other one, the water with the narcotics. The interesting point here was this, that in the park of the mice, they wouldn't go to the bottle of water which was mixed with narcotics, even if they had to. But this is strange behavior, maybe just for the mice, is that right? Fortunately, there's an experiment about humans too. In the war Vietnam, 20% of the American soldiers which attended the Vietnam War were addicted. People were afraid of this, that after the war finishes, thousands of addicted soldiers will come to the streets. But the experiment which was done after the soldiers came back had an interesting result. They didn't have any sign of addiction. Most of these soldiers, after coming home, they had quit the narcotics. If you believe in the old theory of addiction, it doesn't seem logical. But if you believe in Professor Alexander's theory, it is completely logical. Because if you have to go to a war in a strange place, taking heroin is the best thing you can do. But if you return home and be next to your family and friends, it is exactly like that you've come out of the cage and have gone to the human part. We should look at addiction another way. Humans naturally need connection. When we are happy, we make emotional connection with those around us. And when we cannot do this because of some psychological problems or life problems, we'll communicate with other things which makes us calm down. These things can be the constant checking of your cell phone, computer games, social media, gambling, or even taking cocaine. We humans should surely communicate with other people because of our nature. And the way to get rid of the unhealthy connections is making healthy connection with the ones who we love. Addiction is just a sign of the crisis of the absence of connection, which is happening around us, and we all feel that. Since 1950, the number of each American individual's friends is constantly reducing, and meanwhile, the status in their health is increasing. And this means forgetting those around you and using your own things, such as these cell phones, to calm you down. The narcotics war has made everything worse. Instead of helping the addicts, we snub them from the society and make it difficult for them to find jobs and be stable. And we won't support the addict, and we'll send them to prison. We'll put those people who are in a bad situation in a situation where they will feel even worse and hate them because of not reforming. At the end, we should say that we have been talking about just one person about getting addicted. But now we should talk about saving the society, because as a group, we are wrong. We should make a society more likely to that park of the mice and less like that cage of the mice. We should change the wrong way of our living and explore each other's again.